The phone vibrated on the table between us. Once, then again. I didn't reach for it. I watched the condensation slide down my glass instead, the way it always did when something was about to rot. Across from me, her sister smiled, nervous, careful, like she knew the moment mattered more than it should. I glanced at the screen. "We really need to talk. This is urgent." Exactly 1 year since the divorce papers dried. The timing was surgical. I typed without looking up. "Maybe another time. I'm currently on a date with your younger sister. Send." The vibration stopped. Silence rushed in to fill the space where my marriage used to live. Her sister swallowed. "Everything okay?" I nodded. On the surface, I was calm, polite, present. Inside, something cold adjusted its grip. I'd learned not to trust urgency. Urgency was how she controlled the room, how she rewrote reality, how she made me doubt my own memory. I raised my glass. "To honesty," I said. She hesitated, then clinked it. That night I slept without dreams. The next morning my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered, and by the time the call ended, I understood why my ex-wife had finally lost control of the clock. The betrayal hadn't arrived all at once. It never does. It seeps. During the marriage, there were gaps I couldn't explain. Long walks that went nowhere, locked screens, smiles that didn't belong to me. I told myself I was paranoid, that love required trust, that suspicion was the enemy. I was wrong. The divorce was clean. Too clean. She didn't fight for the house, didn't argue about money. She wanted out fast. At the time, I thought it was guilt. Now I know it was strategy. The call that morning came from a clinic, professional, neutral. "There's been a mistake," the woman said. "You were listed as an emergency contact." My name shouldn't have been anywhere near that file. The patient was my ex-wife's sister. The reason was a pregnancy complication. I hung up slowly. Memories rearranged themselves without asking permission. The sister's sudden closeness after the divorce, her questions, her curiosity about my past, my routines, my patience, my ex-wife's silence, the way she vanished for weeks then reappeared with rehearsed concern, and that urgency. I didn't confront anyone. I never do. I observe. That afternoon, I requested records, quietly, legally. I pulled phone logs from the months before the divorce, numbers that repeated when I wasn't looking. One number stood out, my former best friend, the man who stood beside me at the wedding, the man who held my shoulder when she cried about growing apart. I felt nothing. That scared me more than rage ever could. I continued the date with her sister, not out of desire, out of necessity. I needed proximity, access, confirmation. She talked too much when she was nervous, filled silence with truth she didn't know she was leaking. "She was scared," she said once, staring into her cup, "about you finding out." I let the sentence hang. "Finding out what?" She froze, then smiled. "Nothing." The word echoed. I scheduled a DNA test under a pretense she accepted too easily. I watched her sign the consent form with a hand that shook. At night, I replayed moments I'd buried. The way my ex-wife flinched when I touched her phone, the way my friend avoided eye contact at the gym, the way her sister knew things I'd never told her. My outward life remained unchanged. Work, gym, meals at the same hours. Inside, I was cataloging evidence like a man inventorying a crime scene he once called home. The results arrived in an unmarked envelope. I opened it alone. The child wasn't mine. I laughed once, a short sound, sharp, unfamiliar. Then I called my ex-wife. She arrived expecting chaos, tears, accusations, the old version of me who needed her reactions to survive. Instead, I handed her the report. She read it. Her face collapsed inward like a building whose supports had been quietly removed. "I know," I said, soft, controlled. "About him, about the timing, about your sister." Her mouth opened. No sound came out. "I also know," I continued, "that you planned to tell me after the baby was born. That urgency wasn't guilt, it was fear." She cried, real this time. I watched without blinking. "You used her," I said, "to test me, to distract me, to make me complicit before I ever consented. She dropped into the chair. I stayed standing. "I won't be raising someone else's lie," I said, "and I won't protect your secrets anymore." The power move wasn't loud. It never is. I forwarded the evidence to her parents, to my former friend's wife, to the clinic's legal department. Facts only, no commentary. By nightfall, her world was on fire. She texted, called, left voicemails that cracked apart mid-sentence. I didn't respond. The sister tried once, apologetic, frantic. I blocked her. The silence felt earned. Now, a year later, I sit alone in the apartment I kept. The quiet doesn't scare me anymore. I understand it. Betrayal taught me precision, taught me that love without truth is just a longer con. I don't hate her. Hate requires investment. I simply don't carry her weight anymore. The last message from her remains unread. Urgency fades when it's no longer shared. And I finally learned the most devastating revenge is walking away with the truth and leaving them to live inside the lie they built.